Today we're testing some of the craziest candy creations on TikTok, and we have to start with this one because somehow somebody thought to turn a marshmallow into a giant fluffy gusher. They're putting this sour goo inside of a marshmallow, and I honestly need to know if it's as good as it looks. So we're gonna be making some marshmallows. To make marshmallows, I have to first start by blooming my gelatin. And so into the mixer's bowl, we're just gonna add water and gelatin. Let me give it a good mix. And we're just gonna let it hang out for a little bit. And usually this is the start of something super fun, like my Jelly-Nitos. And now we gotta make the sugar syrup to fluff up our marshmallows. In a saucepan, I'm gonna add some water and honey. We're using a lot of honey here. And then we're just gonna bring that to a boil until it measures 240 degrees. Okay, we're just at temp. And now comes the fun part. I have to start whisking this gelatin, and once it gets going, we're gonna pour the syrup directly into the bowl. Just be very careful pouring hot sugar in this bowl. And let it whisk for like 3-4 minutes until it triples in size. I can see it starting to thicken up and come together, but this isn't exactly a candy color or flavor that I want. So, because they're doing a watermelon goo, I think I'm gonna flavor it watermelon marshmallows too. So I have some watermelon oil, just add in a couple drops. I'm gonna flavor it with some vanilla too, because that's like the classic marshmallow flavor. And then, I don't like candy this color, so we're gonna make it fun. In their video, they made theirs purple, but I'm thinking my favorite color is, so let's make it pink. Now let's finish whipping it. Okay, I think it's just about ready. Yes. I know when it's ready when the mixture starts looking like a curdly brain, and then it just kind of falls down like this. It's perfect. We basically made marshmallow fluff, and did you guys know how easy it could be to make marshmallow? But now, let's put it in a piping bag so we can pipe it out into candy bombs. Oh my gosh, it's like a fluffy foam cloud. I'm so excited for this. And now let's make the magic happen, because they use these round molds and then they just pipe in their marshmallow fluff, filling the middle with this sour watermelon goo. So let's keep our fingers crossed that this all works out. For extra insurance, because this stuff is super sticky, I oiled the mold already. Okay, I'm gonna fill it halfway first. Oh, that was so satisfying. They leave almost like this circle in the middle of the marshmallows, this divot right here. Okay, let's fill it with the goo. Hopefully that's enough. Oh man, I'm already running out of goo. Gotta get every last drop. Now let's cover it up. In my experience, marshmallows are kind of spongy, and I can already see the goo melting into the marshmallow. So I'm hoping that our version will actually work and there's gonna be a nice gooey reveal later. But we won't know until it's set. So we're gonna pop this in the fridge, and I'm gonna check on it later. So while we wait for our marshmallow bombs to set, this might be one of the prettiest candies I've seen in a while. It's like if a unicorn melted inside of a candy bar. Let's call it a unicorn cotton candy fudge. And I need to see if this is gonna taste magical or if it's just gonna hurt my teeth. But she starts off by putting a lot of white chocolate into a bowl, and I have to use all the white chocolate that I own. So making it rain chocolate. Whoa, I've never seen this before, but there's like different shades of white chocolate out there. I've never made fudge before, but apparently it's a lot of chocolate, and then you add a whole stick of butter to the mix, and then maybe to make it stick and come together, we add some condensed milk. But now let's make the unicorn melt. So because white chocolate tends to seize, I need to stir it up a few times in the microwave. I don't know, but something tells me this doesn't look right, and I've never made fudge before, so I'm gonna trust the process. But if anyone's ever made fudge before, is it supposed to look like this? I'm just gonna keep stirring. There's like some chunks of white chocolate that are not melting. What is happening? But for the most part, it's coming together, and it looks like I made edible slime. Butter slime. But now we have to dye this mixture, and I was thinking, unicorns usually pink and blue. So let me go ahead and transfer half of it into another bowl, dye that one pink, and then this one's gonna be blue. Oh, that is so pretty. And it's already starting to solidify, so I have to work fast. Let me prep the pan with some oil so we can get this out later. But to make it look like unicorn poop, I'm just gonna put dollops of each one into the pan. She also tops it with some marshmallows. So we've got like a unicorn rocky road situation. Let me give it a quick swirl to mix this in. Okay, I honestly hope this works and it doesn't just look like a big mess. Let's cover everything up. I'll give it another satisfying swirl. Okay, this is starting to look really good. But we're not done yet, because it's unicorn. She tops it with sprinkles. And we have to let this set for a while until it completely hardens before more magic comes. Our unicorn fudge is just about set, but before I do the reveal, there's one more thing we have to do. Let's cut our fudge. Oof, it's thick. I love how beautiful it looks, but we have to make it sparkle. So let's put some gold fairy dust. Oh my goodness. This is already looking like a party. And to make it extra magical, a cotton candy layer. And here's our unicorn fudge. I gotta say, this looks better than any of the fudge that I've tried before, because usually they look sad like this. Kind of like a old-fashioned candy. But this screams fun. So let's see if it tastes as magical as it looks. Honestly, I don't hate that there's still white chocolate chunks in there, which I still don't understand why it didn't melt, but that's a different question for a different time. But it's creamy, white chocolatey, surprisingly not too sweet. So yeah, I'm gonna say this unicorn cotton candy fudge tastes magical. 9 out of 10. We've all heard of nerd gummy clusters, but this recipe right here is more like a nerd's crispy treat, and it sounds intriguing, so I'm gonna have to try it. And while I was looking more into this delectable treat, I saw this creator's where the top of her Rice Krispies treats was completely filled with nerds, kind of like a dot cake. So I'm gonna work my way backward and pour a thick layer of nerds at the bottom of the pan. Ah, yeah. Okay, let's set this aside while we make our Rice Krispies treats. Okay, let's start by melting some butter. And then once it's nice and melted, we're gonna add in a whole bag of these mini marshmallows. Okay, it's starting to get nice, melty, and gooey. I'll just let it melt a little bit more. It's like slime. And because I want this to be extra sticky, I'm only gonna add this much Rice Krispies. Yes. It's super gooey. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be so sticky and perfect. But to make it extra fun, what do you say we add some more nerds? Oh my gosh, this is like a funfetti dot treat. Now my challenge is to pour the Rice Krispies in and make sure the bottom still keeps intact that dot cake vibe. So I gotta be careful that it doesn't pick up and stick to what it should not be sticking to. Okay, I'll just get some parchment paper and press it down. So hot. Now the question is, how am I gonna get this all out? We're just gonna have to let it cool for a few minutes. Okay, our Nerds Krispies treat should be about set. So let me see if I can flip it over for the big reveal. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Oh no, it's stuck. I underestimated how sticky marshmallows would be. But this looks so good. But somebody said, I feel like Rice Krispies treats and nerds wouldn't taste good. I don't know. And somebody else said, that looks like it'll hurt my teeth forever. And I kept falling down the TikTok rabbit hole. And this creator even said that this combination is weird. So I'm not sure what to think. But let me cut this up and I will let you guys know. If anything, this reminds me of Floam. And they even have those Floam slime cutting ASMR. So is so satisfying. But what's even more satisfying is how our Nerds Crispy treats turned out. So look at this. Dot cake who? Huh? Let's see if it'll hurt my teeth. Yeah, I see what you mean. It's a textural thing where the nerds are a little bit too hard when it's meshed with the marshmallowy Rice Krispies treats. It's like you have different layers of crunchiness, but the nerds kind of hurt. I love how this looks, but I don't know if I love how it tastes. 6 out of 10, but you know what? I feel like Pop Rocks would go crazy on Rice Krispies treats. Swedish candy has taken over TikTok over the past few years, and there's just something so yummy about it, where they're sour, but they're also squishy and stretchy at the same time. So imagine my surprise when I found this TikTok that showed us how to make it with only 2 ingredients. She starts by adding Haribo gummy bears into a bowl, but somebody said when I made this, it was so hard I couldn't bite into it. You know what? Haribo, as it is super hard as a gummy bear, so I feel like I want to try it with these gummy bears, which are much softer, and they consider themselves the world's best. So we have our gummy bears in a bowl, and then she adds in 4 marshmallows, which is interesting because I feel like it's supposed to give it that bouncy Swedish candy texture. But now we microwave it for 30 seconds. And while it's microwaving, I need to dust a pan with some cornstarch. And once it's done microwaving, it looks like this, but we have to move really fast, mix it, and pour it straight into the cornstarch. Ooh, it's turning into like this creamy rainbow color. Is it gonna turn pink like hers? I'm getting more of a purple, but the texture is almost foamy. Okay, now let's pour it. Why do I feel like I made so much more than she did? She went for a 2-tone look, so I'm gonna microwave 1 more batch and see what color we get. Ooh, I like where this is going. It's more of like a pinky tone, coral, if you will. But now let's pour it out. Somebody said it's like a sticky mess, and I'm gonna have to agree because it is starting to stick so much to the bowl and the spatula. I can't even get this last piece out. But now I have to let it cool just enough so that I could smush it together. Okay, it's cooled enough to handle, and some parts are sticking to the bottom. But now I gotta scrape it up, flip it over. Oh no, it's stuck to the sides. It's a good thing gummies are flexible. I might have made mine too big. Oh, it doesn't look good on this side. But then she flattens it out. Is my candy just gonna be covered in cornstarch like this? I don't know, but now we have to stick it in the fridge for 10 minutes to rest. Our gummy is ready, and now she cuts it directly inside this pan, but I'm gonna transfer it to a cutting board. And I thought it would be fun to make some Swedish fish. Get it? I'll just place it right in the middle of the 2 colors, and we're not gonna get the 2 tones like she did, but that's okay. We have Swedish fish. I also have a bigger heart mold right here because I love gummies. Let's peel the excess off. And just from looking at this texture alone, looks promising. It's still pretty sticky though, so I'm wondering how this is gonna turn out. I'm gonna take my rolling pin and see if we can punch this out. She uses scissors to cut hers, but mine are so small, I don't know if this is gonna work. Now the problem is, how are we gonna get these out of the mold? I have a skewer, I'm gonna try to punch it out. I don't think I thought this through very well. Swedish fish? More like Swedish goo. I think we'll have better luck with our bigger cutouts because I see this one coming out. Just barely. But because we don't want to be eating cornstarch gummies, she takes a brush and takes off any excess. And here's my Swedish gummy heart. Has a nice stretch to it. And what does it taste like? It tastes good. It's mostly like a foamy gummy bear with the texture of chewing gum. Definitely nothing like the Swedish candies that we buy at the stores that's also covered in this sour sugar. I don't even know at which point I would dip this in the sour sugar, but I'm gonna say these are expensive for a reason, and just stick with them. Homemade Swedish candy gets 6 out of 10. But if you're looking for edible slime, this could get 8 out of 10. Call me crazy, but sour strips are one of the best candies out there. They're actually sour, and the texture of the strips is just so flexible, soft, and chewy. So I was super surprised when I was scrolling through TikTok and found this post right here. It's not your typical TikTok video, but it does show you how to make your own sour strips, and my mind was blown. Because you're telling me they're just fruit roll-up layers smashed together and rolled in sour sugar? Wow. I don't believe it. So you know what we have to do? Unpackage all of the fruit roll-ups first. And apparently, according to this post right here, I have to unwrap 3 boxes of fruit roll-ups. Problem is that they're super sticky, so this is not a fast process. Now I'm beginning to regret this decision to test this because it's taking longer than just going out to buy the sour strips. Oh no, no, don't stick together. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is not gonna work. Okay, I've extracted all of the red colors I could find in these boxes, and hopefully that's enough to make a nice red layer. But now we move on to the next layer, which is the yellow-green tropical tie-dye. This also has red and blue in there too. I'm gonna trust the process. This one's already sticking together out of the packet, so I'm just gonna try to flatten it as much as I can, and then we're gonna roll it out anyways. And that is not giving yellow and green. Now we have the blue layer. Finally, the last piece. And now this whole piece is supposed to resemble this somehow. I have to roll it out. There's a lot of air bubbles in here, which makes for a pretty satisfying roll. But now I have to get a pizza roller and cut them up into strips, and then we dip it into this sugar mixture. And I have to try to get it as thin as possible. Oh, it's really hard to cut through. And how did she get her strips to look so perfect? Because this is what mine looks like. Let's try to make it a little thicker. Okay. This one's a little bit better, but it's a thick sour strip. And now we have to dip our DIY sour strips into this sugar mixture, which is basically just sugar and a lot of citric acid to make it nice and sour. Okay, here we go. This could kind of be like a sour strip fun dip. New candy idea? Ooh, okay. Once you dip them, they definitely give off sour strip vibes. Only that the air bubbles that were left behind are leaving little frayed pieces. Expectation versus reality. It's not perfect looking, but I wonder if it tastes just as good. Oh my gosh, I made it so sour. But I almost want to say this is even better than the sour strips because it has a better chew. Because it's thicker, it's definitely more satisfying. I wasn't sure where this was going, but I like where it went. These DIY sour strips get 10 out of 10. Our marshmallows should be nice and set by now, and it's the moment of truth. Let me try to unmold it real quick. It looks so good. Oh, but wait, we have to dip this into some sour powder, which I still have a little bit from our DIY sour strips, but let's give it a little bit of color. I have some lime sugar powder here. This should be nice and sour and limey. And we'll just plop it right in. Get it nice and covered in that powder. Oh my goodness. I already love the way this feels. But now the question is this really gonna taste like a fluffy sour gusher? And is the goo inside still there? Oh my gosh! This looks exactly like the TikTok and I'm so excited. My mouth is salivating. Just imagining how sour this is gonna be. If you guys love those sour coated gushers, this is so sour. It might be just as good, except it has this bouncy foaminess that is so satisfying. This might just be my new favorite candy. Could marshmallow count as candy? I don't know, but this is a 10 out of 10. Butterfingers used to be my favorite candy bar, but I don't know, they just don't hit the same anymore. They're crispity, crunchity, peanut buttery, kind of iconic. But somebody said they recently had a mini and it was too sweet and left a chemically aftertaste. And you know what? I kind of believe them. Yeah, I see what you mean. So when I saw this TikTok of this creator making a homemade version that he swears is better than this version, and the craziest part is that he uses breakfast food to make them. So let's test it. So he starts by adding cornflakes into a food processor, and this is what's supposed to give it that crispity crunchiness. And then he says to grind it up until it's nice and fine, like you. I still want a good crunch in there, so I feel like this is good. One piece didn't want to grind. Now he mixes the cornflakes with some peanut butter and powdered sugar and just mixes it up. You're telling me that this is supposed to be like the insides of a Butterfinger? I don't know about this. They don't really look the same, but TikTok has impressed me before. Now he transfers the mixture to a lined pan and he presses the mixture down. Something about this just makes me so skeptical because look how wet it is. I just don't know if it's gonna firm up to be like a Butterfinger. And then we just let it set up in the freezer for a few hours. Maybe that's when it'll firm up. Our peanut butter cornflakes have set and hardened, still kind of soft. But now I'm gonna cut them into little bars. Ooh, did you hear that crunch? We have our little bars, now we need to dip them in chocolate. So I'm gonna melt some. And for a dippable consistency, I need some insurance. Coconut oil. Okay, I'm gonna stir the chocolate until it's nice and smooth. I'm a master chocolatier. But oh no, the peanut butter is already soft. How is this gonna work? We're gonna go with it. The chocolate should make it nice and hard. Let me go ahead, dip it, get it nicely coated, and then we're gonna transfer it to the rack. It's too flexible. I mean, it is called a Butterfinger. Doesn't Butterfinger mean like slippery anyways? Living up to your name. Finally, he hits it with some fancy salt. Big chef move right here. And we stick it back in the fridge for about 5 minutes to let it set. And our Butterfingers are set. Honestly, they look better than the Butterfinger minis. Do you see the difference? And the creator says, if you did what needed to be done, then it should turn out like this. But if it didn't, then I don't know what to tell you. Well, I had a little bit of technical difficulties removing it from the rack, so I would say don't put it on a rack, just put it straight onto parchment paper. Here's what the Butterfinger should look like. And honestly, as the chocolate is melting, because it's 90 degrees outside, this is not holding. It's more like a truffle Butterfinger than a candy bar Butterfinger. Great, but it tastes so good. It's crunchy, crispy, and peanut buttery. Maybe next time I should use Skippy instead to give it that firmness. But while this doesn't really hold up, it does taste amazing. So I'm gonna give this recipe an 8 out of 10. So I saved the craziest one for last, and I bet most of you have never tried this candy before because it is called prison candy. And it's made with ingredients that you could only find in prison, and honestly, it looks pretty creative. So first, he starts by adding coffee creamer into a bowl. I didn't even know coffee creamer belongs in candy. And now for the flavor, he adds the Starburst drink mix, but I couldn't find those, so we're gonna use some cherry Kool-Aid. And now, very specifically, we don't want it to turn into a liquid drink. So he said 4 spoonfuls of warm water. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we mix it and the magical candy is supposed to come together at this point. It looks so dry. I'm super tempted to add more water, but I will try not to. It's like sand. But it is starting to get sticky. This is supposed to be stretchy enough for me to make like taffy. I just don't know if I can do this. I'm so tempted to add more water. Should I do it, guys? Maybe just a tiny little drop. I mean, definitely not enough to turn this into a drink. But it came together. And I have to stretch it out until it's nice and smooth. Okay, let's start stretching. Is this the part in the candy shop where they put it over the hook and they start to pull? But hey, if you guys are looking for like a DIY squishy toy, this could be it. Okay, and this is as smooth as I can get it. At least it's not sticking to my hand anymore. But now he puts it into a chip bag. I'm not in prison, so I can use a plastic bag. And then I guess to roll things out in prison, he uses a soda can, which seems pretty interesting. So I'm gonna use my favorite soda to roll it out. Okay, let me transfer it out onto a cutting board. That actually reminds me of taffy. But we need to add some fun to this. We need to take some Jolly Ranchers and crush them. And this could be why some of them ended up in prison to begin with. But now we're gonna sprinkle this onto our candy. This actually looks pretty good. But now to cut it, apparently they used their prison ID card, but this looks close enough. And in prison, they can sell each of these for $1. So now I need to know, is this like an airhead? What does this taste like? Somebody said, I'm gonna try to make this with my kids and we're gonna call it Slammer Taffy. I mean, just like somebody said, using candy to make candy, except it doesn't taste like candy. It tastes like coffee creamer with a little hint of Jolly Rancher and cherry sweetness. It's definitely not anything like an airhead, and it's not my favorite. 3 out of 10. But if you like this video, go watch me test more TikTok candies. Bye.